Hi everyone, my name is Brittany and I am back with a tutorial. Today I'm going to be using the Let's Be Mermaids collections from Jessie James Beads, and I'm super excited because we all know I love the ocean themed stuff, sea themed stuff, and I love turquoise. I think the main one that we're going to be using today is Splash. However, I might get some backup from Siren and Coral Queen. So here is the pendant I want to use today. It's a little enameled shell that's just super adorable. And before we decide on which other beads I'm going to be using from the pack, I already have some hemp going. So I have 4 strands. What I did was I took 2 5-yard strands. Now I know that sounds like a lot, but with hemp, if you're knotting, it takes up quite a bit of room. And if you want a longer necklace, you need to start out with quite a bit of hemp. So I had 10 yards. I made 2 5-yard pieces, and then I folded them in half. And so now I have 4 2.5-yard pieces. So I'm going to find the ends. So I have my 2 ends, and I'm just going to slide one group of 4 strands through one side of our pendant. Now, if you're having trouble keeping your pieces together, you can twist them, you can use some wax, you can use tape, like bind them together with tape. I'm going to see how this goes, and if it doesn't work out, we'll figure it out. These have a tendency to unravel while you're working with them, so you might have to trim them throughout your project. This is probably just about the right size. So I'm going to slip all 4 pieces through, see if we can do it. Can we do it? Yes. Okay. And then I'm going to bring this to the middle of our necklace, or to the middle of our cords, I should say. And I'm going to do that by putting both ends together and then finding the center and dragging our pendant along the way. It's okay if they get tangled, it'll happen. You might just need to spend some time unknotting. So now we have the pendant in the middle of our strands. You have a couple options here. You can just leave it like that and then start your knotting. You can make one overhand knot, which I think I'm going to do, or you could tie it kind of like a bow knot. I don't know if that's the name of the knot that I'm thinking of. I know how to make the knots. I don't know the names of the knots. So I'm going to make a knot like this. Okay, and we have a rogue bead. Put them off to the side. And I'm going to start with a big opening because there are 8 pieces that need to make it their way through there. So then we're going to walk the knot down to our pendant while carefully tightening. Okay. And there we go. First step is complete. So I'm going to switch to a bead mat so our beads aren't rolling around, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've separated out all of the beads from the mix into cute little piles, and I've turned my pendant upside down. So this is going to act as our anchor while we're knotting. Normally I would use like a binder clip or a piece of tape to hold down my end if I was starting at one end of the necklace, so the hemp wouldn't move around. But since we've already got a big knot there, this can hold it down. Again, you can tape this to the table if you want. I'm going to see how well it works out. We might need to in the beginning. I've separated the 8 strands into 2 sets of 4. So I kind of just went with which ones were naturally on the left side and which ones were naturally on the right side. And within that, I'm going to turn the left side. I'm going to just put those off to the side and not think about those for a while until it's time to do the left side of the necklace. So then my right side of the necklace, I have a natural outer leg string. Sorry, I'm trying to do this with just 2 hands. Sometimes you need about 6 when you're working with hemp. And then I'm going to pull that to the far right. Then we have 2 in the middle, and we have 1 on the left. So I'm going to pull that to the far left. Okay. So again, we're forgetting about these 4 strands, and you know what? I'm going to go ahead and just tape those down to my table because it'll be a lot easier. Okay, so those are taped down to the table. So now we'll be working on the right side of the necklace. Well, actually, this is probably the left side of the necklace, but the right side looking at it this way. I don't have a pattern in mind, but we want to be very aware of the size of the holes in the beads that we're using. So I'm worried that these pearls, even though they're really pretty and they go really well, aren't going to fit this cord through as they are. You might need a bead reamer, and a bead reamer is like a file that'll go inside a bead and make the hole larger. So I have my 2 middle strands here, and most of these beads will not fit 2 strands through them, which would be ideal for hemp. Unfortunately, that's not what's going on today. But we're gonna make do, and we're gonna make a really pretty sea theme necklace. The hemp reminds me of like netting or rope that you would use while boating, and it's just obviously these wonderful sea spray colors. So what you can do is kind of angle cut, or you can use wax. Again, you can use some tape. Try and angle cut my threads and see if that works. If it doesn't, we'll get some tape. I love these crystals. They're so sweet. I'm going to see if we can fit that through. Kind of just twist it. There we go. Perfect. So I'm going to load on some beads, and I'm going to do that at the beginning just so we're not doing it throughout the necklace. And we don't have to knot them all in place at the same time. You want to make sure you keep your outside strands away while you're knotting, and your inside strands in the middle. So we have a crystal on this strand. Let's see what we can do next. I like these. I love both of these. It's like a mermaid glass that has a glow in it. And then these look like actual sea spray, these coated glass beads. I'm going to grab one of these. Put my hemp through. So then I want to make sure that I set, as I'm doing this, set them aside for the other side of the necklace. So each time I put one on here, I'll put one of the matching on the other side. I think I actually want some accents of purple in this necklace. Not too many, because I'm really going for the sea theme here. But the Siren set had some really cute purple crystals in them. So I'm going to grab that purple crystal. I'm going to grab 2 of those. Maybe, actually, I'm going to grab all 4 of those, because there is some blue in there, in that crystal as well. Oh, there are a bunch of them. I think we're only going to need 4, but there are some left in that mix for me when I go back. I don't see anything else that I want to take out of there yet, but we have a ways to go. So another bead that I'd like to see on here is, let's see if we can get a pearl on here. But I'm going to have to really choose wisely with these. Oh, it'll go in this one. There we go. Okay. And I think next I'm gonna go, I'm loving this gold bead right here, but I think here I'm going to put, since it has such a large hole, I'm going to put it through with both of these pieces of cord, and you'll see what we'll do. Once we start knotting later, you'll understand, but I want to load all the beads on first. There we go, both on one. And then let's see, so we want to make sure that we don't get these too twisted up. Okay, so we have right and left again. I want another bead on my left side. I'm going to grab one of those crystals. one of the purple crystals, not one of the green or blue or whatever color that is. And then on the right side, I am gonna go, what about one of these big guys? These are so pretty. They're almost like faux gemstone. They're so pretty. Now let's see if this will work through this hole. If not, totally fine. We can set these aside for earrings, which I think we might have to do because they have a little bit smaller hole. Yeah, we're gonna set those guys aside for earrings, but that's okay. Okay, so we were able to get it inside of one of these mermaid glass beads. I'm just gonna keep twisting until it gets out the other side. And just grab it. If you don't have nails, tweezers work just as well. Okay, so then we want to make sure we put a pearl aside, a crystal. Oh, there are two different crystals from that other mix, so I'll have to grab some more of these purple ones, and a mermaid bead. And then I'm thinking we need one of these large bicones on the left string. Love it. That looks like seafoam green, doesn't it? Don't worry that they're touching, that we're going to be knotting soon. And then, so I'll put one of these in there. What do we think next? I think we'll work every 3 beads into a gold bead. So I'm thinking I like the pumpkin melon bead for this section. Okay. And then put that in our side bucket. And then we want to make sure that our beads, our strings stay on the correct side. So let's see, the left is this one, and right is that one. So now I think I want to put a crystal on the right side again. And as you go, you're going to get fray. So you go ahead and trim as much as you need. Just be very careful because you don't want to cut off too much length. And then I'm going to put a pearl on the left side this time. And then I think I want to do, I'm going to put a gold, well, I'm going to put one more bead on the right side, and then I'm going to put a gold spacer, one of these daisy spacers on. I'm just trying to decide which bead we'll put on next to this. I think we'll do another one of these sea spray gold or glass beads, kind of in the same pattern as we have there, but just a little reversed. Then I'm going to take the pearl side and I'm going to put one of our daisy spacers right up against that pearl. Again, if you don't have nails, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Just go ahead and use tweezers or something to grab that for you. And we're going to slide it down to our pearl. Get my left string out of the way there. Okay, so I think that's enough beads for now. If I want to add more, I will. I have an idea for these guys in just a minute, but we're not there yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that my two middle strands stay in the middle, and then I'm going to move down the rest of my beads. They're not coming off because we have to slide them down, and there's tons of cord that they would have to make it down to fall off, and this one's pretty tight, so they're not going anywhere. But I'm going to move these down so it's easier for me to knot towards the front of the necklace. Okay, so what I want to do here is I want to loosely move up my crystal rondelle, and I am going to take my far left strand, and I'm going to make sure my two are in the middle still. Okay, cross over those two in the middle before our two beads. Okay, and then I'm going to cross over, or I'm going to just cross over those beads, and then I'm going to take my far right strand and I'm going to move it over that string. So we look like we have a 4, okay? So it's coming over these two under the left, or under the right side. Then I'm going to take my right side, and then I'm going to put it under my 2 strings, and then we're going to come out over our left side, okay? So we want to make sure those 2 always stay in the middle. The only ones that are moving are our right and left strands. So this way, we now have a knot up against our bead, and we want to pull our strands taut. Now, the ideal thing is to have larger whole beads or smaller, thinner cord, so both of these strands make it through that bead. We don't have that luxury here because we want it to be a little rustic with this cord, and I'm just going to move it up. Okay, I'm going to move it up as far as it'll go against that knot and pull as tightly as I can without the bead collapsing, not collapsing, without the bead having any gaps. Okay, so that one I went over with my left. So now the next one, I'm going to go over my right, over the 2 middle, and then under the left. Okay, so we have a backwards 4. And then I'm going to come with my left one underneath all of these strands. Okay. But over the right strand. So just the exact same thing we just did, but in reverse. So we have those 2 in the middle, and we're going to just snap that up against that bead. Okay. I'm going to do that 2 more times. So I have, and I'm going to go back to the original start. So we're going to keep our 2 in the middle. I'm going to create a 4, that goes over our 2 middle, and then we come with our right one. We're going to push that underneath the right string, and then we're going to come back with the right string, go under all 3 of those, and then over the left hand side. Okay, so that's what the knot looks like. And then those 2 strings are always in the middle. And I'm going to do it one more time. Go over. This goes a lot faster if you're not doing it in front of a camera. So there we go. I'll try and move it to the left a little bit. So then you start to see a flat pattern going. Now, what I want to do here is I am going to, that's stationary, that's not going anywhere. And then I want to take all 4 of my strands, And I just want to create a knot here. I'm not going to do the knots that we were just doing, but I'm just going to do like an overhand knot. So these guys are moving around a little bit. It's going to be a little hard because we have our piece taped down, but I'm just going to make a loop. And then we have to remember we have all these beads on our remaining strand, our remaining necklace, and we just want to slowly, there's no time limit here if you want the necklace to look right. So we want to slowly feed all 4 of these strands back through our necklace to make a knot here. And if you're really patient and just keep your lines from crossing, it'll come out perfectly. And it turns out to be pretty easy. So there we have a knot starting. So I want to make sure that these 2 are still loose. I'm just going to move my knot down to where I'd like it to be. And throughout this, you want to make sure you keep track of your middle strands, which I'm doing by seeing where the beads are on the rest of the strands. So these 2 are our outer ones and these 2 are our inner ones. And we just want to make sure that our strands here are equal. So this one's showing it's bowing a little bit towards the outside. So I want to make sure I pull on that a little bit. To make sure it straightens out. I want this to move down just a little bit, so I'm going to loosen it. And then pull each individual strand tighter to lock the knot. Okay, so right here we have 2 floating beads just hanging out, giving us some interest. Okay, so here I'm going to again figure out where our right, left, and middle are, and we want to make sure we do that before we do any more knotting. So we have our right, we have our left, or vice versa, whichever one works best. And then we have our middles. Okay, and I'm going to slide down the bead that's on the 2 middle strands. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is create this same knot, but around this bead in the middle. So I'm going to go ahead and go over our middle strands with my left string, and it's going to go under our right string. Then our right string is going to go under all of these and then over the left string on the other side. And then we're going to do the exact opposite. I'm going to start with going over with our right string and then bringing our left string under all of these and then out the right side over the right strand. And that's one complete knot. So you did the right side and then the left side. I'm going to do that one more time for each side. And you can always tell which one you did first. So I know I went over mine going left this time because it's over coming from the left hand side, it's over the middle. And now I'm coming over from the right hand side this time. You see it's going over, and then we're coming under. And this time the left hand string is in the back, so we know that we came over with the right one first. So if you ever get lost, you could just look at the knot before it and kind of figure out which one you did last. So now since we started with the right hand side, it shows we have the knot heading in the left hand direction. So there we go. Super cute. Now I have these 3 beads that I'm going to move down. So we have a crystal, we have a bicone, and a mermaid bead. And I'm going to tape the necklace back so we can see what we're working on. There we go. There we go. So again, you could do this in any order you like. If you like the way this looks, you like them being captured within the knots, that's one look, or you can have them being free. I want a mixture of them being free and captured within the knots. So I want to make sure that I have this the right direction though. All right, there we go. So I'm going to move these 2 beads down, and I'm going to recreate this knot right here where these 2 are free. And then what I'll do is knot around, actually, you know what? We're going to do all 3 of these free, because then we have the metal bead in the middle. Okay. Here we go. So I'm going to take all 4 of my beads, or all 4 of my strings. I'm just going to move these up a little bit to make it a little easier for now. And I'm going to make a knot right here like we did before. Put all of our strands through. I would say this is definitely an intermediate necklace. You would probably want to have some knowledge of knotting beforehand or working with hemp, but if you want to try it, I say go for it. Mistakes are always fun too. If we make them, we learn from them. I have never made a piece of jewelry and not learned from it. Got a little piece in our hemp there. Oh, I actually think that's actually built into the hemp. Okay, so I'm going to move this knot towards our beads a little bit. And I want to decide how much space I need for those beads to be free. I think that's about enough. And then we want to pull, and then individually pull each strand to make that knot a little tighter. Okay, so we have these 3 free in there. Okay, and now I'm going to move down my melon bead up towards that knot as much as I can get it. And then we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to do our overhand, underhand knot. We'll come over. We'll get this guy and put him over our left string. and then bring the right string underneath and then out over the left string. Okay, and then we'll slide that knot up to our bead. Ooh, I love that. That looks so cute. I would love a whole necklace with just those beads. And then we'll go from the other side. So we'll take our right hand side, go over our 2 middle strands. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure we're in the camera. Go over our 2 middle strands, put left over right, come underneath, and then out over the right hand side. Just make sure we tighten. Now, if you wanted a spiral, you could just do one side. You don't have to do right to left, left to right. Just choose a side and keep going that way, and you'll end up with a spiral, which we might do towards the back of the necklace. So then I'm gonna do that one more time for both directions, just to keep continuity in the necklace. So, okay, so here's our necklace so far. We have it taped down, so let me free it. To me, it looks like a net that has caught some beautiful beads from the sea. So I'm gonna go ahead and scooch up the rest of these beads. We have our pearl and our spacer, and then on the other side we have a crystal and a seafoam bead. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing, and then I'm going to add this bead like we did here and like we did here with these two behind our 3 beads right here. Okay, so I got the last bead on, and I did a few knots just like we did here and here, and this is what so far the right side of, or the left side of the necklace looks like. So we've captured a bunch of really pretty beads in some hemp through several different knot techniques, and then I'm gonna do the exact same thing up the other side of the necklace, and then I'll show you what we're gonna do on the back, and then we'll finish it off. Okay, so I finished the identical knotting on the other side of the necklace, but before I show you that, we're going to work on pieces for the back of our necklace. So I grabbed some jump rings out of this little findings kit from Beadalon, and I have I picked out some beads. So I grabbed these 2 charms that were in the mix. So I'll bring a little bit more green into the necklace. Set these other charms away. I picked out 2 pearls, 2 spacers, 2 crystals, and then 2 other crystals in green. So I'm going to wire wrap those and make little charms. The pearls, I'm going to put the daisy spacers on top. I'm just going to grab a thin pair of a thin pair of needle nose pliers. Round nose pliers, excuse me. And I'm gonna wire wrap this really quickly. It doesn't have to be super pretty because you're not gonna see it too much. We're just gonna bring that back around, and well, I really meant it when I said not super pretty. Okay, there we go. Straighten it a little bit. Hold that with my pliers. And if your fingers aren't strong enough to wire wrap like this, sometimes mine aren't, you can definitely use pliers to guide your wire. I'm gonna snip as close to that as I can so I don't have to tuck in anything. And then I'm gonna repeat that for all of these beads. Okay, so I made my little charms, and then I have some for the other side as well. And then I'm going to use the smallest of the 3 sizes of jump rings that I have. I forgot I need to grab 2 more for my little shell charms. And then I'm gonna go ahead and grab the first bead, which will be the green cone. I'm going to put this back in screen here. I'm going to grab a green cone and our first jump ring. We're going to twist our jump ring open. I'm going to slip on a green cone. And then I'm going to slip on all 4 of these strands onto my jump ring. Try and grow a third hand so I can keep everything together. Let's try that again. Okay, we'll slip on our strands and then our cone, and then we'll slide close that jump ring. Okay. I'm going to slide that all the way up against our knot here. Pull the cone towards the outside of the necklace if we can. And then I'm going to make an overhand knot. And then I'm going to slide this knot as far down as I can, making sure we can kind of get our cone towards the outside and down towards our knot here. And you just want to loosen and tighten until you get it as close as you can. There we go. So now we have a charm floating on the side. I'm going to go with my pearl next. So I'm just going to do the exact same thing. Open up my jump ring. Slip on my cord. Slip on my pearl. Twist our jump ring closed. And then I'm going to try and flip that pearl again to the outside. Okay, and then I'm going to do an overhand knot. And just get it as close as you can, right up next to that pearl. Okay, isn't that cute? I just love it. Okay, so then I'm going to get with I have 2 different colors of crystals here, so making sure that I have 1 for each side, so 1 blue, 1 purple for this side, 1 blue, 1 purple for the other side. So next I'm going to go with my purple one. Again, it's just kind of repetition at this point. We're gonna go open our jump ring, slip on our bead, or vice versa, put the cord on first, whichever works easiest for you. Seems like the cord going on before the bead is the easiest for me. There we go, close that up. And make sure you get a good tight close on that jump ring so no cord slips out, so your bead doesn't slip off. There we go. Slide it down towards the outside. Overhand knot. And then slide that down to secure our jump ring. Okay, so there are our charms. Now I'm going to put on the seashell. Put our cord on first. We want to make sure that the seashell is pointing outward, so I don't want to, let me think about this. I want it to go on like that so it can flip out. And then we are going to move that to the outside. Isn't that cute? I love it. My dog's making puppy snores and it's the cutest thing I've ever heard. Okay, so we have that up against our knot. We're going to do another knot. Make a really cute coordinating bracelet like this if you wanted to just keep making charms and knots. Be super simple too. Again, you want to try and get up as close to that jump ring as possible. There we go. So there's our little cha-cha part of our necklace. I am going to do that again with the rest of the pattern. So I'll do another crystal, then a pearl, then a crystal, and then I'm going to do it on the other side, and I'll be back and we're going to finish off the rest of the necklace. Okay, so I have decided that this is going to be a really long necklace, and I think the leading up to my clasp, I'm going to leave it natural like this. You could load this with beads, you could do whatever you'd like, but I think I'm going to like how soft this will be against my neck, and then we'll have the movement of the rest of the necklace. So I measured how long I wanted it to be, and then you'll end up having some leftover cord depending on how long you make your necklace, but that better left over than not enough, right? And I'm just going to cut all 4 strands together. My snippers, you can use scissors, whatever you have. And then I just have a generic ribbon end. You can use a cord end, you can use wire. I've shown how to do that in a past video for Jessie James Beads. I'm just going to grab my cord end, and then you have to clamp these. They kind of a learning curve, but depends on how hard the metal is to clamp. So I'm just going to hold all 4 strands in there, get a grip on the ribbon end. I'm just going to put my thumbnail right at the edge there, make sure all 4 strands are in. Get a real good grip at the edge with your thumbnail, and then bend down one portion as tightly as you can around all 4 of those strands. And there are different types of ribbon ends too. So now we've got to be very careful because this guy's kind of popping out. And the second side I always feel is like the hardest. There we go. Well, that one went much more easily than the other side. So now that guy is not going anywhere. I just grabbed a regular toggle clasp from my stash, and then I'm just going to use my jump rings from Beadalon to attach. Get this cord out of here. And then I'll show you some really nice shots of this necklace. I am so pleased with it. It looks like a mermaid and like a fishing net and just beautiful, a seascape, I feel like. So I'm going to take my toggle. I always put the bar on the right hand side of the necklace because I'm right-handed. But I guess it doesn't matter as much with a toggle as it would with a lobster clasp. And then close it, and we'll do the other side. Okay, and then I'll show you the necklace in just a moment. I want to make a quick pair of earrings to match, and we have several we can actually make several pairs of earrings, because look how many beads and charms we have left. We have all of the mermaid tails left. We have some crystals. We have these faux gemstones. But I'm gonna make, oh, we have these like mermaid tail bead caps. I'm gonna make okay, so for our earring, we're gonna use this flat crystal coin bead, and we're gonna make a dangle. And so for the first part of the dangle, we're gonna use that flat crystal coin. And then I pulled out this crystal rondelle spacer from the Coral Queen mix. Just gonna load those two onto my head pin. I'm gonna make a simple loop. If you would like, you can make a wrapped loop. But for an earring that's not going to get a lot of stress on it, I'm just going to do a simple loop. Okay. And then I'm going to grab an eye pin and load on this beautiful pave bead. Isn't that gorgeous? It's like worth the price of admission. It's gorgeous. And then I'm going to put on my gold daisy spacer and then my cone bead, and we end up with like almost like a narwhal looking charm there, the unicorns of the sea, right? And then I'm just going to make a cut, do another simple loop, careful, and there is half of our earring. And I'm just going to connect the two and then put them on an earring wire. And look at that, we have our pair of earrings that are super sparkly and absolutely gorgeous. Okay, I'll clean this up and I'll show you our necklace and our pair of earrings together. Okay, the moment you've all been waiting for, here is our necklace. So we started with our beautiful pendant. Isn't that just such a pretty pendant? And then we went up the necklace with our crystal, our pearls, our metal. Oh, we've got a floofy here. And then we did some beautiful knotting. Oh my gosh, this turned out so sparkly, so seaworthy. And then we have our charms up at the top of the necklace, which actually will be still hanging pretty low on the neck because we built in some extra length in the back. And then here's our finished back of the necklace. Oh, I just love it. It's so sweet. Reminds me of the sea. Reminds me of mermaids. I'm going to get in a little bit closer so you can see the details. So pretty. Let me know what you think. I know it was a long ride. And you know, try your hand at knotting. If you haven't tried it before, you could try some easier knots. Try overhand knots and then work up to, I think they're called square knots. If they're not, I'm sorry. I don't really know the names. I've been doing these knots since I was a kid, so they kind of come secondhand to me. And I'm used to doing a whole necklace full, but I really wanted to showcase more beads this way by clustering them together. So I'm super happy with that. Here's our pair of earrings next to our necklace. The cool thing is we still have tons of beads left from that mix. You can make 3 or 4 more pairs of earrings. I think that mix is so spectacular. You could probably make 10 pairs of earrings and still have beads left. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. Thanks to Jessie James Beads for having me back again. And I hope you catch me on my channel over at Turquoise Street on YouTube. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Bye-bye.